on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Let me introduce y'all to my canes. We got chicken fingers. They hit the spot, baby. Fries are golden crispy, Texas toast crunchy, and they cane sauce creamy rich. One love.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Bagels & Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln or their location in Seward. Bagels & Joe.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Hey everyone, Lance here with Black Label. We specialize in creating custom crafted decks, pergolas, patio covers, and more. Plus, our retractable screens, gazebos, and patio enclosures create the ultimate outdoor retreat. With over 50 years of combined experience, we're not just builders, we're creators of unforgettable memories.
Call them today at 402-730-6333 or visit blacklabelbuilt.com for a free consultation.
Let's turn your backyard dreams into reality.
Black Label Built, built to serve, built to last.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, welcome into What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket. I am Jackson Punchby here, your 93.7 The Ticket studio. To the left of me, your host, as always, former Nebraska tight end, Chancellor Brewington.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like my man said, this is What's Brewing. Man, how you doing? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Chancellor.
There you go.
I am doing pretty good.
There you go. That's great to hear. I hope everyone else, listeners, have a fantastic Saturday midday. It's a little chilly outside. Got some snow this morning and last night. So I hope everyone is safe driving and maybe inside, man. Maybe inside. Get a warm beverage and maybe sit by the fire today and get some stuff done. But we have a great opportunity today to get some real information out there, and something I did on the last show and I on last Saturday, and I thought it was awesome, and got some good feedback. So we're gonna hit it again. And last week we hit the first 2 chapters of this phenomenal book called Think and Grow Rich. The first 2 chapters, for those who are tuning in and didn't tune into the last one, you can go back and watch it, of course. But I'll just give an overview. And we were talking about Think and Grow Rich and how the story came about, or how the book came about, and how, Napoleon Hill has interviewed about 500 of the world's wealthiest people during the process of this book. And it took about, I believe, 29 years to write. And during this process, he went through, I could imagine, was this overload of information, this overload of expertise in certain areas, this overload of I would say a consistent underlying principle, and that all these people believed in themselves and they believed in the vision that they had. And obviously, to believe in a vision, you have to first have a vision, right? So you can't believe in something that you didn't first make in your mind. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today. But the introduction, we talked about the story 3 Feet from Gold. If you go look that story up, it's real quick read. There's a lot of little nuggets in there. Barnes working with Edison. I believe the saying is made by Edison, manufactured by Barnes, or whatever it was. But how Barnes set out to work with Edison, not for him. And so that was the introductory. And there's plethora of stories through here, and there's the Charles Schwab and Andrew Carnegie story, and all these different stories. Like you can almost lose yourself trying to how can I say this, describe each story, right? And there's an underlying thing in each story, and it's really that the individual believed in themselves, and what that really means, and what that really consists of, and how you come to believe in yourself. I think the process it seems like it's difficult, right? And I would say from maybe a personal testimony, and I like to just do the book, right? I like to just say what Napoleon Hill thought, because if I were to say these things, it'd be kind of like, okay, do you have any real facts to back this up? But if this is coming from the 500 wealthiest men of early 1900s, then there's got to be some truth to this, unless they just lied on all these stories. And I don't think they did. I think some of these men were, men of integrity. And I think they, had established businesses, established corporations that they were running. And I think they told the truth. I mean, that's my guess, is that they told the truth. The second chapter is desire. And the one thing Napoleon Hill said about desire is that desire always comes with ability. And ability always comes with desire. So you can't desire something without having the ability to do it. And that's kind of the basis of this chapter called Desire. Also, they brought up I always like to bring up this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says, "Do the thing and you shall find that you have the power." So the power is already within you to accomplish it, or the ability is already within you. And so the last thing we talked about was the great warrior's decision, and it was the story of a commander, or a commander of a great army. They sail, and they get to the beach, and he instructs his men to burn all the boats, and that is a symbolization that there's no return, there's no retreat. It's either we're going to take the land or we're going to lose. And obviously right there, that's a risk. There's a great risk. And obviously with great risk, you're risking you're also on the other side of risk, is there's a great reward. So there's a great reward with great risk, of course. And that's something beautiful. I think we I think we all have something inside of us. I really do believe in. This is why I love this book, and this is why I love books like this, is that it explains that there's something that we haven't tapped into, and maybe it's cliche to say, or maybe it's not, but I believe that there's something we haven't tapped into. And I think you can say maybe the mind, the brain, if you think those are two different things, or if you think those are the same things, I mean, whatever floats your boat at the end of the day. But I think there's something inside of us. There's an innate intelligence that pushes us to be more. I think we brought up the analogy last week of the water hose. Yeah. And I think that applies with a lot of things, is that, there's always this opportunity for the goodness within you to fully express itself. But there's a blockage, and the blockage usually is conditioning. The blockage is usually your fusing or your connection with this three-dimensional world. Like, it's like we are obsessed with it, and this is all we know. And what if your imagination was just as real or realer than this three-dimensional world? And I know that may be a foreign concept, but in most cultures, I mean, they say that as a man thinketh, so is he, right? Every teacher has said that. So where do you think in your mind? Okay, what are you thinking in your mind? You bring up a picture, you'll bring up a visualization, you'll bring up what you want to be, the future you want to have, things you want to do, the things you want to be. Okay, that's awesome. So was that in the form of a picture usually, right? I mean, let's say you think about something. Usually it's pretty consistent, unless there's some people who think in words or in numbers or stuff like that, but it's pretty consistent. If I was to say, think about your fridge at your house, you're probably going to pull up a picture, right? You're not going to look up the word fridge, isn't going to pop up in your mind. It's going to be a picture of it, right? So that's a real place, right? You just went to your fridge. Well, go to your future. Go to the future that you want.
Yeah.
Can we conclude that that's a real place? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. But what if it is, though?
Mm-hmm.
What if it is? And what if you had the power all along to go there and to bring it towards you? I mean, it's this idea, man, of this reality that we see, and we're so connected to it. What if we said, I bless this reality. I'm thankful for it, of course, but I want something new now. I've hit a point where I want something new. I want something new for my life. It's time. Okay, so I want something new. All right. What does it look like? Well, let's get a pen and write it down. I don't know. Let's get a pen and write it down. Okay. I want this. I want to help people. Okay. Or I want to start a business with this. Okay. What is that business name? Well, I don't know yet. Okay. But do you have a color? Do you have a logo? Okay. Well, okay. Who's working for you? Like, okay, awesome. Okay. Well, who else is there with you when you see yourself? Oh, I have a wife. I have this. Okay, awesome. Write that down too. Now let's get to what emotions do you think that person experiences day to day? Do you think he feels whole? Do you think he feels abundant? Do you think he feels he has a zeal or he has a love or a passion for life? If that's the case, write those things down, right? And so guess what you just created? You created a new reality, right? And so let's say this. If your personality, and this is Joe Dispenza, by the way, we'll get to Think and Grow Rich, but we'll preface this because I'm flowing. So Joe Dispenza, he talks about your personality creates your personal reality. Mm-hmm. And your personality is the composite of how you think, act, and feel. Okay. So thinking, we do that in our brain. We have 60,000 thoughts a day, right?
Yeah.
Our actions, movement, all these different things, and emotions, right? Okay, so if those things create your reality, what do we need to change reality? We need to change our personality.
Oh yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
And so what does that start with? What we think. That's the start. As a man thinketh, so is he. Every teacher in history has said what you think you become, because eventually the thought triggers an emotion, and the emotion can trigger an action, right?
Yeah.
But I think the inverse applies as well, is that an emotion can trigger a thought as well. So how about we write out the reality that we want, and we get the emotions attached to it, right? Since maybe we can't always think, we can't think greater than we feel.
Yeah.
Think about that. So we have to feel something, and that's the emotional. And so Dr. Thurman Fleet in, I believe, 1934, he was out of San Antonio, Texas. He was a holistic doctor, and just felt like there was a mind-body connection. He just felt there was something, that the mind controlled the body, and that the mind was not the brain. And that the mind, and this is his theory, of course, but that the mind was something that controlled the brain, and that the brain was an instrument of the mind, and the brain was the mind in action, right? Just as the body is the brain in action, right? And so he wanted to clear all confusion, because if you go on a journey on trying to figure out what the mind is, you'll get thousands of interpretations on what the subconscious mind is, what the conscious mind is, all these different things. So Dr. Thurman Fleet, he came up with this mental picture, because a lot of times we need some type of model for learning, right? Because if I just say all these things, that's great. But all of a sudden, if I give you a diagram for your mind, you have a mental picture, right? I mean, we all form mental pictures. So if I give you a model of something, you're going to build synaptic connections, meaning that's learning. You're building neural networks, right? So that's how you learn. That's how you gather new information. So if I build you a model, now you can really understand something. That's what Thurman Fleet did. He made a circle, right? He just got a circle and he divided it in half, and he put the conscious mind on top and he put the subconscious mind on the bottom, right? And on the top, he put 5 lines outside the circle, and those are your 5 senses. So your conscious mind is connected to what? 3-dimensional reality, right? And that's pretty standard, right? Mm-hmm. And he said inside the conscious mind that you have these higher faculties, that you have your imagination, you have will, you have perception, you have all these higher faculties that kind of separate you from the animal kingdom, right? And then he also said that, the subconscious mind can also be the emotional mind, and that the emotional mind is is in direct communication with the body, and it actually controls the body. So what we're experiencing a lot of times is, and let me preface this and say 95% of who we are is unconscious or is subconscious, right? So we really only are aware of 5% of what we're doing. And because think about it, if you have 60,000 thoughts a day, and some of those are getting planted in your subconscious, they're literally controlling 95% of who you are, how you're thinking, how you're acting, and how you're feeling, right? And so the object is for you to take control and say, body, you're not the mind anymore, right? Because the body has become the mind through this programming. Take back the power and control and say, I'm the mind. I control the body. Body, you aren't the mind. And then now we can feel different. Now we can act different. But let's get into chapter 3.
Oh yeah.
Because we could go on that for a while. But now we got a model. And so now someone can work with the mental picture of what the subconscious is. I wish we had a whiteboard, whatever, but now someone can understand, okay, so the conscious, conscious, subconscious, and let me just preface this by saying that the functions of the conscious mind are that they can accept it, the conscious mind can accept and reject information, right? So you can, I can tell you that the earth is flat, right? And and with a bit of intelligence based on your your schooling and your studies and whatever, you can say, well, I've been taught no, I don't agree with that. Amazing. That's great. But you consciously rejected that, right? But so the subconscious is the opposite. It can't accept and it can't reject. It receives everything. It's like a garden, right? So you plant whatever, and you can plant a bad seed or a good seed. The garden isn't going to reject it, right? It's just, it has to produce something. It's by law, right? It's not a respecter of persons. It's a respecter of principles, right?
Yeah.
And so now that we have this kind of framework and this model, we can go into this chapter of faith, because now when we talk about subconscious, you have something to go off of. When we talk about conscious, you have something to go off of. And let me just say this now. when information is processed, it's in your conscious mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me say it like this. Once an individual gets knowledge, right? And then obviously all of a sudden they get understanding, that produces, I would say, a emotion called faith.
Okay.
Yeah. Emotion called faith. Because think about it. If I was to tell you to do something that you don't know how to do, and you have no understanding on it, would you have faith on it?
No, you wouldn't.
You would have what? The other side is kind of fear. There would be a little bit of fear,
skepticism.
Yeah, doubt. There would be a doubt, some worry there. But if I told you, if I told you, I don't know, let's say you don't know how to fix a light bulb. There are some light bulbs up there.
Yeah.
You don't know how to fix a light bulb, and all of a sudden I told you, go fix light bulb. You're gonna be like, okay, and you're gonna do it on live television. Okay, whoa, you're gonna go in high beta brainwave. You're gonna be like, what the heck is going on?
The pressure's at an all-time high.
Yeah, high stress. Okay, what if I gave you 3 weeks to prepare? I gave you all the books on how to change a light bulb. I gave you a model. I gave you videos of it, right? So you're building a knowledge, and then all of a sudden you're testing that knowledge with experience. You're building understanding, and then now you will have faith in front of 10 million people that you will be able to fix the light bulb, right? And so that's the two sides of. That's why when someone says ignorance is our greatest enemy, that's a true statement. That's a very true statement. Now, knowledge is our greatest friend. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say that knowledge is power. I personally wouldn't. I think knowledge applied through experience and understanding is power. Yeah, because if I just know something, great. I guarantee we all know that investing money over, we've all heard it. If you save $20, at the age of 12 up until the age of 45, you'll be a millionaire if you compound it, put in the S&P 500.
Yeah,
that's pretty common knowledge. A lot of people know that. Well, why are not people doing that?
Yeah, you may know about it, but you have to know really how to get to that.
Right. They haven't programmed themselves to do it.
No.
And so think about this. That's where at the conscious level. So they know it at a conscious level. Subconsciously, have they accepted it? Have they got emotionally invested with that idea? Probably not. And if that's 95% of who you are, probably not going to produce any results. Right. And if the emotional body controls your body, or the emotional mind controls your body, and the body, obviously controls your results, then there's a real disconnect going on. There's a real disconnect. And so the idea of this book is to get something, and the idea of these chapters coming up is to get the information from the conscious mind, right? Because you're reading the book or you're hearing the information. That's great. That's, pretty consistent with every book. Now, if you're hearing it and reading it, how does that information get to the subconscious? And this is what this talks about in faith. And I think we'll hit this first chapter when we come back.
Yeah.
I would say this is my favorite chapter. Faith is probably my favorite chapter. So this will be fun.
All right, we're going to go ahead and throw it to break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
And over 125 pre-owned vehicles. Hi, Charlie Stone here, and with me on the line is Andy Goodyear of Honda of Lincoln. Andy, how does it feel to have so many vehicles in stock again for your customers?
Charlie, it feels amazing to see how excited our customers are. They love the ability to see, test drive, and take immediate delivery of the exact new Honda they're looking for.
Do you have some good offers to talk about?
We sure do, Charlie. We're offering financing as low as 0.9% APR up to 72 months, or great lease rates on every new Honda. It's the perfect time to drive away in the new Honda you've been dreaming of.
How about pre-owned, Andy?
We have over 125 pre-owned and certified pre-owned vehicles to choose from. Just about every make and model with prices starting at under $10,000.
Maybe it's time you experience the best, the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business. 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
In today's digital world, you can never be too cautious when it comes to your security. Cyber attacks are affecting more businesses every day. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we understand the stress and impact a cyber attack can have, not just on your bottom line, but on your ability to serve your customers and protect their trust. That's why we are passionate about safeguarding your business. From real-time threat monitoring to advanced security protocols, we help keep your data safe, allowing you to focus on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solutions. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, we're back with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket, getting into Chapter 3 of Think and Grow Rich.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate the texters chiming in. I love when there's feedback. I love when there's a response to something, whether it hits you, whether you agree or disagree. I love it. I love it because we're all we're on this pursuit of knowledge, and we're on this pursuit of life, man, of this beautiful, wonderful journey of trying to find out who we are. And maybe it takes a whole lifetime to get that answer. Or maybe it comes quicker than that. Who knows? Or maybe you do know. I would love to hear. Chapter 3, faith. Beautiful. I mean, the word faith is an interesting word. I'll say this. I think I grew up in church, and I grew up in that setting. And I think the word faith is thrown around, and there a lot of times isn't a understanding of what the word means, at least for me, at least. There's times where, okay, you hear the word faith, and I'm a man of faith, and in essence, that's amazing, right? That's amazing that you're a man of faith. But what does that even mean? Right? What does that word faith mean? Right? What does that mean to be a man of faith? Oh, well, I'm a man of faith. Okay, that's awesome. What does that mean? Okay.
Mhm.
And so I think the faith conversation is interesting. And I don't know if the word faith has a religious context to it. I really don't. I think it stands alone by itself.
I mean, it's universal. You can use it in literally everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you know where a 93.7 ticket is, we're on O Street, and I see cars.
Yeah.
I mean, the driver has faith that the other driver isn't going to swerve over to cross the two yellow lines and hit them. Right? That's a little bit of faith, right? You have faith that your car is going to start. You have faith that your brakes aren't going to go out, and that you're going to be able to stop when you command the car to. You have faith that, I mean, that the sun's going to come up in the morning, and that the moon's going to come up, and that the air that you breathe isn't going to kill you on your first breath, and that you have faith that the innate intelligence within you that keeps you breathing in the middle of the night while you're unconscious and you are in an altered state of dreaming and all that good stuff, right? So like there is there's faith in everything, and I like what you said, it's universal. There's you can use the principle of faith with everything. And so Napoleon Hill, he starts the chapter off, he says, when faith is blended with the vibration of thought, the subconscious mind instantly picks up the vibration. This is amazing. And I think I would love for someone to do this book again. Think and Grow Rich too, because I think there's a lot of science, first of all, that has came out. There's a lot of published papers on how can I say this, on brain wave states and brain patterns, and the electromagnetic field that our heart creates. There's a lot of science behind it, right? And so it would be awesome for a little bit more explanation in some of these, right? Because this is written, I believe like 1930s, early or late 20s, early 30s, not 34, I believe. That's the number that comes to my head. But it would be awesome if there was a little bit more science behind it, but if you pick up this book and understand the concepts, you'd always, I think you have to read other books to understand this book. Because he throws about ether, he throws around the word, conscious and subconscious. If you don't have any like connections towards those words, then you're kind of just reading this book and just floating by it. He also says that the subconscious mind is also known as the emotional mind. And we talked about that, is the way to influence the subconscious mind is through emotion. And for there to be a successful imprint or a planting in the subconscious mind, there needs to be a heavy emotion. And he'll consistently talks about this. This is not something he mentions briefly. It's not something that, he just talks about a couple of times. He probably says it about 10 times in this chapter that the things that you want, or the desires, the ideas that you had, they need to be fixed with emotion. They need to be fixed with emotion. He also suggests that the subconscious mind is in direct communication with infinite intelligence, and this is this is where it gets interesting. It gets interesting, and I think it takes a receptive mind to understand this. Not to understand it, but just to hear it. I think we sometimes have our own ways of thinking, and maybe that's through conditioning and stuff like that. I'll say this: over the last, I would say, 140 years, philosophers, mental scientists, new thought teachers, theologians, metaphysics, they've debated what the subconscious is. Is it, when they say as a man thinketh in his heart, so is the heart the subconscious, or is the heart, right? Can you think inside your heart? I don't know. I've never had a thought inside my heart, like that has probably is a symbolization or a personification of something, right? And so there's this vast or there's this variety of different opinions, variety of different thoughts and takes on what this is. And it's really beautiful to see how someone conceptualizes it, how they form an idea around the idea of the subconscious. And it's a fascination, because has anyone ever seen the subconscious mind?
No.
Have they sliced the brain open? No, they haven't. It's impossible. I mean, have you seen a soul before? No. You haven't seen it. So it's like now it gets mystical, and now it gets people put the hand out and reject the ideas, because I would say there's no real backings. There's no real true backings on this. There becomes a little bit of faith, right? And so how do you build faith? You first have to gain some information and read some material or study something, and then you'll kind of understand a little bit more. Then you can have faith on it, right? And so one of my favorite individuals on this topic of the subconscious, and he calls it subjective. It's the same thing, or unconscious mind. It's all the same thing. It's Thomas Troward. He was I want to say he was a judge. I want to say he's somewhere in Europe, but I mean, early 1900s. I think he's one of the best, if not the best, authors on mental science. It's alone. I think he stands alone. I think he's the he's the one. I really think he's the one. He's a pioneer, and he suggested that the subjective mind is an individualization of the universal mind. And conclude what you want there. He says that the universal mind is infinite and individualizes itself into every person. Okay. But still has all the same functions of the universal mind, right? But it's on a smaller scale. Okay. So the example is just as a flame from a lighter it's much smaller than a wildfire, right? But it still contains this all the same properties of the wildfire, just on a smaller scale, right? The same is with the subconscious mind and this like incredible power, right? And so it's like it's the idea that I won't get into the idea. I'll get into what Hill says. He says he asked the question, how does a person build faith? And Hill suggests that it's quite simple, and it's by repetition. And I think that's the repetition of knowledge. You obviously gain understanding. I've talked about this. It's super repetitive. If you read this chapter, it's like, wow, this book is super, super repetitive. Goes over the same concepts, changes some words in it, but hits the same thing in all the stories. It's really a lot of the same stuff, but he says it in different ways. And sometimes you read something and it's like, I get what he's trying to say. You just didn't say it in a way that connected with me. And all of a sudden you switch a couple words, because I have different connections with different words. And all of a sudden those words are like, man, that hits completely different once you change those words. And I have a different connection to it. And now I understand it. And I think that's what Hill was trying to do in this chapter as just a pure author, is like, there's a point I'm trying to get across. What's the point? That faith is built through repetition. And that the way to influence the subconscious mind is through emotion. Okay. If those are the points he's trying to hit at, he does a fantastic job of making the first, like, I would say 6 pages of the chapter 3 of faith be all about those two subjects, say it in 25 different ways. And it's really beautiful how he did it. I want to demystify the term manifestation. Sometimes people hear that and see or hear, have some type of like conditioning towards that.
Yeah.
Manifestation is just the process of something going from, I would say personally, going from energy to physical. I mean, The manifestation of, I mean, rain.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a manifestation. The manifestation of when you boil water.
Yeah.
When you boil water, it turns into steam. That steam turns into like this ether, right? This, this
Yeah.
gas that you can't really see, right? That's a manifestation. And then, turning water into ice, that's a manifestation. Like there's
snow.
Yeah. These are manifestations, and I would say the sun coming up is a manifestation of of a universal law, right? I mean, that's
it always comes up.
Yeah, it always comes up. And there's principles in everything. And he'll talk about the formula of manifestation is thoughts plus emotions plus faith, which the emotion is faith, will equal its physical equivalent. And so that I think it's so simple that it sounds crazy to me, at least.
No, yeah,
at first,
I get that, yeah.
It's like, if it's that simple, then why aren't everyone doing it?
Yeah.
So and I've heard this one teacher say this. He says, if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your future, right? Would you if in your assessments, how old are you?
I'm 20.
20. So we're talking to a 20-year-old. I'm 25, so I only have 5 years on you.
Okay.
We're basically the same. If old head was here, he'd say we're about the same age.
Yeah.
Right? So we basically have the same experience. We're kind of in this era of like information, right? So I don't know if we're more effective with the information, but we have information at our disposal. I mean, with these phones, with the computers, I can chat GPT a whole thing on snow and understand the dynamics of snow and how a snowflake is formed and the geometric patterns in the snow. I could do it all through chat GPT and get it in an instant
at the touch of your hand.
Exactly. So let me ask you this. Do you think thoughts have something to do with your future? Just your personal belief.
I think so. I think, you manifest things. Like there's just me working at think about working at the ticket.
Right.
I'll tell this for the listeners. I came in here when I moved here for this semester, and I walked in and I was like, man, this would be a cool place to work.
Oh, wow.
And that's how I'm here.
Yeah.
That is how I'm here.
I
said, this would be a cool place to work. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to work there. And now I'm here however many months, 5 months, whatever.
So it's an idea.
Yeah. It's an idea and a thought.
Yeah.
I could work there.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So as the thought, so you accepted the thought.
Oh, yeah.
So you didn't reject it.
No.
Okay. So how many times did you start thinking the thought after? Was it like there was repetition involved?
Yeah. You pass by this place, you think about it, it becomes part of like, you're driving to work, to school, to, the store, and you pass by because we're on those streets.
Yeah.
You drive down it, you'd see it, you'd be like, oh man, yeah, I gotta reach out to them again. I was emailing Rebecca.
Yeah.
And you gotta reach out to them to, come work here.
Let me ask you this. So was there a point where when you thought about it, there was some type of like emotion that came up? Like you got like excited? Like,
like you get excited, like think about what I'm doing right now. Thinking about sitting here in the studio, thinking about being able to have this opportunity.
So you thought in the future.
Oh yeah.
And I would say you felt it before it happened almost?
Almost in a sense, yeah. It's like you could think about like sitting here now, and I know my girlfriend's listening. I literally told her about this. I was like, it's crazy to think that I'm going in to do radio with a guy, because I remember when you played for Nebraska, and that's just pretty cool to think about that. And like when I first started working here, I was like, I want to do that. Like I was doing all the all the work that you do here as an intern, but now I get to come in here on Saturdays, and I get to do these shows, and it's awesome, and it all started from a thought. It really did. From a thought that I want to work here. That popped into I didn't say it out loud. I didn't was like, you guys hire. It just popped in my head when I was in here getting coffee. It was a thought.
So that is the perfect example of manifestation. So if we can all demystify it and say a thought is energy.
Yeah.
Right. I won't say the word spirit because there's way too many connotations with that, or and connections with that. I'll say, if thought is energy, right? So you literally successfully transformed this thought or this energy into a physical equivalent, which is what you're doing right now, right?
Yeah.
So you literally pulled a reality that you wanted, right? You pulled it, selected it, said, I want this one, right? in the form of thought, in the form of an idea, got a mental picture, got emotionally involved with it, repetition, which caused, I would say it puts you in a certain vibratory state and it puts you in inspired action. What'd you do? You emailed Rebecca. You emailed Miss Pearson. Consistent with that, right? Got more emotionally involved with it. And then guess what happened? A physical result happened. So that's exactly the process that he's explaining, is that a thought, like you had the radio station, the emotion, what would it feel like? That was what we kind of start off with at the show. Okay, write down, okay, what does it feel like to whatever? And you probably just unconsciously don't even know it, right? You're like, it's almost, and it's almost like this is really how we're supposed to do it. Because if we do it unconsciously and it works, and that's how you create, if you say we're creative beings, I love the Bible. I think the Bible is a fantastic book. If you study it, I think I personally think it's divinely, I think it's divinely inspired. You can conclude from that what you want. In Genesis 1:26, and I'm taking our religion out of this, just looking at it as a pure story. In Genesis, the symbolization behind it, Genesis 1:26, it talks about, and the Lord God formed man, and he said, and he blessed them and said, he made man in the image and likeness of, he said, let's make man in the image and likeness of us, right? And so if you understand what image and likeness is, okay, so what do we know? And I'm just going to say this. If you look at the first chapter of Genesis, I mean, study that for the rest of your life. I guarantee you won't figure out what that means. I mean, it's infinitely complex. The first chapter of Genesis, you understand one thing about God, right? Or this creator, right? Whatever, taking all religion out of it. I'm right. But what I am saying is that you understand one thing, that he's your creator, and that if you're made in the image and likeness of him, he's telling you about yourself in that first chapter. And was he telling you that you're a creator? So you created something, I would say. You created an opportunity. Right? Okay. Well, maybe study that and do it again. I mean, if it works on this, it can work on the next thing.
Going back to the job thing, I always tell people, like, I grew up in high school. I had so many friends, they go work for restaurants. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I was like, I want to go do something that's like really fun and kind of interesting. I worked the past 3 jobs that I've had, like, part-time, just whatever, have just been just reaching out and kind of just creating that. Creating that opportunity. It's not like I saw a job opening.
Right.
I kind of you have to reach out and be repetitive. And going back to here, when I reached out at first, I didn't hear anything. I had to reach out again. I had to come in. I had to talk to people. You're creating that for yourself. It's a matter of if you could put yourself in a mindset to be able to do that. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I think it's almost like it's like we're all the same.
Oh yeah.
It's almost like we're all the same in that the way you create something, I can take the principle behind it and use it in my life. And that's why books and stories and I think there's a consistency in everything. That's why I'll consistently say I love the Bible. I think there's so many stories in there. If you take the principle and say, how does this apply to me? How does this apply to me? Get the symbolization, get the metaphors, understand the personifications, understand, maybe the metaphysical, interpretations, the mythology behind it, and understand, okay, what does this mean for me? Because if it doesn't, I'll say this in my personal opinion, this is specifically me talking. If I can't understand more of myself through a text or through some type of passage, I don't think it's either I need to look at it again.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, if I learn more about myself, guess who I'm learning more about? I'm learning more about you.
I'm
learning more about everyone. I'm learning more about creation. I'm learning more about this life, this world. If I learn more about myself. And now obviously that's on the foundation and that's on the foundation that that all of creation is inside the individual, and that we come from a source, whatever you want to call it. And we're getting all the way off track of this, but it's a phenomenal thing that you brought this
Yeah.
up, that you went through the whole process of this formula, and that it works, and not only for positive things. See, it works both ways. There's a duality
Mhm.
to it. There's this works for negative things too. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a quote. It's my lock screen actually. It says, any idea that is held in the mind that is either feared or revered will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate physical form available, by Andrew Carnegie. But there's so much more with chapter 3 on faith. I appreciate everyone listening, chiming in, doing all that good stuff. We're not even halfway through faith when we still got another chapter.
We
So
still got a whole...
yeah, we got to throw it to break, but yeah, it's going to get good.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead, throw it to break, come back for a quick one. And then, keep listening, keep joining in, keep talking into the text line, 402-464-5685, and we'll be right back.
If you're a veteran, our nation has created a wide range of benefits to thank you for your service, but it can be difficult to navigate the process of determining eligibility, filing claims, appealing decisions, and securing the benefits you've earned. Speak to your county veteran service officer or the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs State Service Office to see what's available to you and your family. These services are 100% free, so visit veterans.nebraska.gov today. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Hello.
Angela, we have to break up.
But why?
Because you're a robot and I'm just a guy trying to get better internet.
It's Allo Fiber, isn't it? I always knew you wanted faster speeds. My contract isn't good enough for you.
Face it, Angela, they let me talk to real people.
Press 4 to break my heart. Oh wait, you already did.
Visit allofiber.com to switch today.
If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Big box stores are tempting for buying equipment for your high schooler in sports or for yourself in your sports leisures. But buying new is awfully expensive. Why not go somewhere with new and used options? Play It Again Sports is quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And it's more than baseball, softball, and golf. They also have equipment for disc golf, fitness, hockey, and more. Plus, they're always buying products. Bring your gear you're done with and get trade money on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
A new year means it's time to try new things. If you haven't tried Fear's Cheese Spread yet, the time is now. For the days you don't want to go to the gym, don't worry. Fear's Cheese Spread is there to cheer you up. And for the days you do get to the gym, why not celebrate when you get back with the best dip around? Get to your local grocery store today and load up on Fear's Cheese Spread. No event or party is complete without it on your table.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
Ostreetcarpet.com.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln Families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
In today's digital world, you can never be too cautious when it comes to your security. Cyber attacks are affecting more businesses every day. At Hamilton Business Technologies, we understand the stress and impact a cyber attack can have, not just on your bottom line, but on your ability to serve your customers and protect their trust. That's why we are passionate about safeguarding your business. From real-time threat monitoring to advanced security protocols, we help keep your data safe, allowing you to focus on what matters most. Hamilton Business Technologies. Real people, real technology solutions. Connect with us at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through February 18th is 15% off chocolates, 15% off wines and spirits, and $10 off filet mignon per pound. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, we're back with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket. Got a quick segment for you here, and then we'll flip over into the top of the hour.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I hope everyone is having a splendid Saturday. A splendid Saturday. Man, I might go to the movie theater. I might go watch a movie. In high school, I ain't gonna lie. In high school, one of my mentors, he said, learn to do like some things alone.
Yeah.
And it was kind of I might have been the wrong person to say that to, because I love being alone as it is. So then it kind of gave me like a okay to be more of a loner, I would say. And so I used to always go to the movies on Wednesdays. So after school, it would be I wouldn't work out on Wednesdays. We would go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So we would have Wednesday and Sunday off of workouts. This is like just off-season training stuff. So Wednesdays, I would always go to the movies by myself. And people thought it was so weird in high school. You're going to the movies by yourself?
Hey, like what I'll tell you is, like, because I live up here. I'm from Florida. My girlfriend lives back in Florida. She is up here right now. But she used the same thing.
Really?
She would go to the movies. I think it was Sundays. And I would tell her, I'd be like, why are you going by yourself? Because I didn't understand it myself.
Right.
She was like, I just like it. It's like fun. It's like a long time. You get to go watch a movie. And I was like, you know what? I kind of understand that. You know, you got to see that.
Nah, for real. And then you go in. This is what I used to do. I mean, I don't, this is just what I used to do. I used to go get like a Firehouse sub. We used to have Firehouse back in Arizona. It was like right across the street. And it was like, I don't know. For me personally, it was when Firehouse was banging. Like, it was like a lot more personal. This is like 7-8 years ago, of course. So this is like kind of at the beginning of Firehouse. So like
I can remember it.
The quality was just like, I would say a lot better now.
Yeah,
better than it was, right?
They're a little bit more corporate now.
Yeah, a little bit more corporate. It was like, back in the day, it was like, Firehouse, it was for the firefighters, and it still is that way. But anyways, I'm getting on Firehouse tangent. But I would sneak in like a Firehouse sub, or I sneak in some type of food. And I would just go in there and munch on Wednesdays.
Oh yeah.
Or I might go to like 2 movies too.
Yeah.
Like I would spend a whole day there. It was fun times. I look back, I'm like, man, I'm definitely what they call an introvert, and it's so crazy that an introvert has a radio show.
Yeah.
like this is the most I'll talk when I get on the radio. This is the most I'll talk for the week. Like this is the most I'll talk.
Man,
I get all my words out here, so this is always good. But yeah, for those tuning in and listening, we weren't just talking about the theater or Firehouse Subs. We were talking about Think and Grow Rich, a phenomenal book, and it's beautiful because first of all, life is beautiful because everyone has an opinion. If everyone had the same opinion, life would not be fun. It wouldn't be really worth living for real. So I'm glad that people have different opinions, because when we were just talking about this off air, but like when two people look at something, they see different things. And, when someone hears something, they hear different things. We have different backgrounds. We have different conditionings. We grew up differently. So we're going to hear things differently. We're going to see things differently. And I think he'll provide the reader. And there's some authors that don't do this. He'll provide the reader with the information and kind of leaves his 2 cents out of it. Like you don't really get Hill's philosophy, right? Like it's not like Hill thinks this. There's a story where he talks about his son, but this is the common. He's basically getting the common denominator from 500 of the wealthiest people in their stories, and he's packaging it into a book. So it's a much different book than the books that How to Get Wealthy in a Month. It's much different than that because there's a real backing, there's a real foundation of it, and it's not the author's. It's not what Napoleon Hill thinks. It's not like Napoleon Hill said, "Man, I'm gonna write a book this year about money and how to get money and how we're gonna how someone can get money." Like that's not his deal. His deal was that I'm gonna get everyone who has achieved this, who have established careers, have done, I would say, successful in their industries. Obviously, the word successful is, dependent on everyone's definition of it. But that's what he did, and that's why I like this book, and that's why I think it stands alone, and it's stood the test of time. And we're about to, in 10 years, we're gonna come up on 100 years of this book, right?
Yeah.
And so when someone says, "Why is this book still alive? Why is a 25-year-old and a 20-year-old talking about this book still?" Well, there has to be some validity to it. There has to be some type of backing, some type of foundation to it. And I think that's what's beautiful about it.
Yeah, well, we'll go ahead, throw it to break, but don't go anywhere. We still got one more hour here with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket.
At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Fairway has fresh cut meats, seafood, cheese, wine, and spirits, and a friendly staff that's always ready to help you find what you need. Stop by Fairway Meat Market today to plan your weekly meals in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn. Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com or give them a call at 402-380-0432 and turn your dreams into reality. Your land, your legacy, their solution. Next Ag Appraisal and Realty.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet. O Street Carpet. 1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
Attention! For the entire month of February, Acres has John Deere packaged oil and filters for 15% off. John Deere engineers its oil filters specifically for large ag equipment and commercial and residential mowers. With premium materials, these filters meet the unique demands of your farm and acreage. Following a strict maintenance routine with premium John Deere oil and filters ensures your equipment will run efficiently for years. Visit your local Acre store to start shopping today.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
Salt Mine City is not only Lincoln's newest brewery, but they're also now serving food. Enjoy a full menu of great items daily for lunch and dinner, like their peanut butter and jelly burger with bacon and cheddar cheese, or a Reuben sandwich served on Blackstone rye bread. Don't forget their beef or chicken nachos with guacamole, sour cream, jalapenos, and more. Wash it down with one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, now open 11 a.m. every day but Mondays at 8th and R.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. The last few years have been wild, but we've been here for you through all the ups and downs, and we'll be here for you when you need us the most, for all your travels and for your day-to-day driving. With winter conditions causing problems all over town, the last thing anyone needs this year is constant car troubles. Let us help you drive in peace and make sure you drive to work and to winter destinations safe. A1 Automotive, 11th and L Street downtown, always honest answers.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstorats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Chancellor Brewington, powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, we're back with What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket. Keeping with Think and Grow Rich here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got, what, 3 more segments?
According to this one, yeah.
Yeah, 3 more. About to take it to 2 p.m. Here soon. Man, we are in the middle of chapter, 3 of Think and Grow Rich on faith. It's a beautiful thing. I think faith is beautiful. I think the idea of faith is very broad and very general. We were talking about that. You can go back or go on the YouTube, go on the Facebook, go on the Twitter, and go back and listen to that conversation. It was pretty fun. Napoleon Hill suggests this idea that someone can impress into their subconscious that they have faith. And I think that's interesting someone who doesn't have faith, they can imprint into their subconscious that they do have faith. And Hill suggests, or Hill says, based on stories, based on this gathering and collection of information, that you can do that. And that's actually possible. And you can leave that up to your own conclusion. If you believe that's possible, if you believe that's something you can do, that's for you to decide, of course. He also says that there is no limit to what the subconscious mind can manifest within the confinements of the laws of nature. Right. So obviously, we're not talking about, I want to fly to the moon. I want to, become Superman. Right. We're not talking like irrational things. We're talking on the same lines of what you talked about, of with your getting here, getting to all these places. I remember I went to the Nebraska spring game. This was like this is the COVID one. And kind of on a visit. And I was like, I got emotionally involved with the idea of playing here. There was a thought, right? I'm going to play. I want to play here. That'd be cool, But then all of a sudden I went on a visit and it was like, oh my God, I'm playing here. There was emotion. There's an elevated emotion. So when I mean elevated, it was above my resting emotional state, right? So if my emotional state right now is a 4 or 5, I'm chilling, right? Not much is happening. We're in the conversation. We're talking about a book that I like, right? So there's a little bit of emotion, but all of a sudden, I got an emotion and it hit like an 8 or a 9, and I got really, I started to feel myself playing. My hands started to sweat a little bit, like my stomach started to get a little like queasy, not in a weird sense, but like in a sense of like butterflies, of like I see myself running out the tunnel. I see myself scoring touchdowns. I see myself playing. Then it's like, okay, how can you stay with that though? Can you stay with that feeling? Can you stay with that emotion? I think that's the hardest part, is that someone can successfully do that, right? I think we can all think of something that we would like, and this is talking about like material riches and all that good stuff. We could literally just be talking about like something else, like a relationship, or or someone to a relationship that has gone down the drain and you want it to be rekindled again. Right. And all of a sudden you feel the emotion, you get the mental picture of you two, in harmony again and all that good stuff. And all of a sudden you get emotionally invested in it, and you do that one time. You do it one time and you feel great, and then all of a sudden you revert back to your old ways and you start thinking, your negative thoughts again. And so it's probably not going to happen. No, I would with a bit of intelligence, you would say it's probably not going to happen. Hill says faith is a state of mind that it may be induced by self-suggestion. We'll get into that. Faith is the only known antidote for failure. That's amazing. I think that's amazing right there. Faith is the element which transforms the ordinary vibration of thought created by the finite mind of man into the spiritual equivalent. Faith is the only agency through which the cosmic force of infinite intelligence can be harnessed and used by man. He also says that faith is the basis of all miracles and mysteries which cannot be analyzed by the rules of science. And I think nowadays there's been so much advancement in science that there's a movement happening where people are studying this thing called quantum physics, and they're understanding there's much we don't know. There's a Albert Einstein kind of touched on it. I mean, I wouldn't say he touched on it. I would say he unlocked something for humanity. Nikola Tesla, he unlocked something. He used to always say that if you want to understand the mysteries of the universe, or understand the real keys to this world, is understand it in frequencies, energies, and vibrations, right? And so that if you were to say that 40 years ago, people probably look at you crazy, right? And in 60, and go even further. I mean, 80 years ago when Tesla probably said that, it's probably why he didn't live long, and that's speculation, of course. But now if you look at it, a lot of people are talking about this type of stuff, right? And there's a little bit more of awareness or understanding of this, or conscious awareness of this idea that an individual can think of something and it can come to pass. You think about, someone long enough, they probably are going to call you, or they're probably going to phone you, or probably going to see them on Instagram, or you're going to see them on Facebook, or, you're going to be in conversation and their name get brought up. I don't know how many times that has happened to me. And that's on a super, super small level. So if we know, and we talked about that, if principles and laws are universal and they work in every scenario, if we take that principle in that scenario in the super small scale of thinking about someone, them calling you, them phoning you, and whatever, if we do that on a larger scale, let's do it with something a little bit more important, right? Let's do it for a job. That's amazing. All right, let's do it for something else. So work with the job. Let's do it for the relationship. Let's do it for that. All right, let's do it for the family. Let's do it for the house. Let's do it for the car. Let's do it for the love. Let's do it for the peace. Let's do it for all these different things, right? In theory, it would work, right? And that's theory, and I think that needs to be tested out for every individual. And some people probably know this, and they know it to be so true that it's second nature now. Just think about it. If you understand a law, I heard a bishop say this one time. He said, the moment you understand a universal law, he said, it'd be smartest for you to apply it right away, because it's going to work for you or against you, whether you know it or not. But you become consciously aware of it, and it's your obligation to yourself to abide by it, right? Abide by the law. And so Hill says this, and this is a conversation I really want to get into, is he says, thoughts which are mixed with any of the feelings of emotions constitute a magnetic force which attracts from the vibrations of the ether other similar or related thoughts. So that idea is pretty consistent, right? I mean, you think about something negative, probably going to get another negative thought coming in after, another negative thought, another negative thought. You think something positive, probably going to get a positive thought, another positive thought, another positive thought, right? So that's pretty consistent there. A thought thus magnetized with emotion may be compared to a seed which, when planted in fertile soil, germinates, grows, and multiplies itself over and over again until that which was originally one small seed becomes countless millions of seeds of the same brand, right? And so if you go back to the Genesis of the Bible, and I believe, I want to say, I believe it's chapter 1. If you go there and you read what the author wrote about seeds and fruits and all those type of things, you understand that when you plant a seed, you get a fruit, and inside that fruit is more seeds, and you plant those seeds, you get more fruits, and inside those fruits are more seeds. That's what he's talking about, countless of millions of seeds of the same brand. So imagine planting something, this job, okay? We can just use you because the example is perfect, and it fits literally right into the framework. So let's take the job, right? This job, and so you've successfully planted all these different things. So it germinated and grows. It growed a fruit, right? We would call this a fruit, right?
Yeah.
We'll be known by our fruits. I'll know you because I'll say, oh, this worked. Why do I know it worked? He's working at the ticket. That's the fruit, right? So if that's the fruit, inside that fruit are more seeds. So inside this job is more seeds. That's pretty simple, self-explanatory. There's more seeds, there's more opportunities, there's more this. Plant those seeds, you'll get more fruit. You get more fruit, you get more seeds. You get more seeds, you'll get more fruit in the continual process. So this is why I say is that people talk about this concept of the will of God, and I think it's awesome, and I think it needs to be explored, and I think it needs to be demystified too. I think all of this needs to be demystified. I think this is my personal opinion, and I love saying my personal opinion because everyone has one. Is that I think the will of God is for the betterment of society. I'll say that, but I think within the individual, it's always for expansion and fuller expression. I think it's always for expansion and fuller expression. What does that mean? Well, fuller expression of the goodness that's within, because I do believe there's good within everyone. And I do believe there's an opportunity to be negative. I 1000%. I mean, you have I put before you blessing and curse. You choose. You decide which one. There's repercussions to both.
Oh yeah.
But I think the true essence of us, I think there is a goodness. I really do think it, and it's always, I think it's always it's for our betterment and our good. I don't think there's any scenario. I think it's actually by law that it can't be anything other than good for us. So let's get back to this book. And so I guess I'll actually go to another established researcher. His name is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's I mean, if you listen to anything in kind of the not so much wellness space, but on this kind of mind thought and, this kind of movement of, thinking your reality and all that good stuff. He's a pioneer, and why I think he's a pioneer is because he actually provides published research papers, and like with science, he's a scientist, right? So like, he has a real backing, and his story's phenomenal. He got ran over by I think like a 12-wheeler or 13-wheeler semi truck in a triathlon, and he has his own story of personal testimony of healing a spinal. He bypassed this. He said no to spinal surgery, and he figured out that within the human being that they can heal themselves, right? And that's kind of the basis of it. But he has the most scientific published papers on meditation, and within that you get to understand how the brain works, and so you get to see these beautiful wave patterns of beta and alpha and theta and delta and gamma and all these different brain wave patterns. But he suggests that the brain is an electrical charge. So like we talked about, it's always emitting something. You have cells inside your body. They're always communicating with the universe or the environment. That's pretty consistent. And the heart has a magnetic charge that it's pulling things in. This is his theory, of course. So he says, so you really attract the things to you by feeling things in your heart, not just only thinking something. And so it goes back to Napoleon Hill. So there has to be some foundation. There has to be some consistency. If, this individual, Joe Dispenza, is getting fantastic results with millions of people, then all of a sudden Napoleon Hill, or I would say, obviously Napoleon Hill started this off 100 years ago, says that you have to get emotionally involved with it. That has to be the principle. That has to be the law, is that you have to get emotionally involved with it. And that's what I'm trying to get at. Hill says that the subconscious mind has no opinion, we talked about this, of good or bad ideas or thoughts. It is completely amendable to suggestion. In other words, is completely a separate entity that can't. How can I say this? It is literally a garden. It is literally a garden. It has no preference for the individual, right? Like it's not like subconscious is like, yeah, like, I'm going to make you rich. No, it's your job. I'm not, and rich is just literally Think and Grow Rich. That's why I said that.
Oh yeah.
But there's an awesome poem. There's an awesome poem that I'll get to. We can do it actually after the break.
Okay.
But no, there's some great things, and we'll wrap up this chapter with faith and get on to the next chapter.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and throw it to break, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Shopping for new flooring is different today. Getting your questions answered, making the right selection, getting the best value, and installed quickly and professionally. Visit ostreetcarpet.com or shop our store. We'll answer all your questions and help you make the right choice. You'll be enjoying your new floor in just days for less than you'd pay elsewhere. Carpet, vinyl, wood, laminate, tile, and area rugs. We've got it all.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
It's game on at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Nebraska's premier dealership, stocking top brands such as Can-Am, Honda, Polaris, Kawasaki, CF Moto, Suzuki, Yamaha, Indian Motorcycles, Sea-Doo, Manitou pontoon boats, and Triton trailers. Come check out Nebraska's newest Indian motorcycle dealership and ring in the new year the right way on an Indian motorcycle. Save big on their massive selection of side-by-sides, all-terrain vehicles, motorcycles, and power watercraft to ring in the new year at their new 27th and I-80 location.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the #1 selling complete post-workout product, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out, exercises, or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today, try a free sample, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
When you need a new water heater, nothing beats the ProLine family of water heaters from A.O. Smith. ProLine models are built using commercial-grade components, meaning they're built to help you tackle your toughest days. No matter if you need a gas or electric model, A.O. Smith has a ProLine unit for you. A.O. Smith, innovation has a name. Call Patriot Plumbing at 402-464-7411 for a great deal on a water heater today. Again, that's 402-464-7411.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodman is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodman representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. And Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Early break. Just as Kevin says, the old days were absolutely not better times. Lots of hardships. Life in 2025 is better than ever. Oh, I love when we get these jokes back. I love good joke, good I love that joke. You're a good one. Good one, Kevin. You're hilarious, Kevin. You keep it up.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, we're back with What's Brewing here on 93.7 The Ticket. We're keeping on unpacking and digesting Think and Grow Rich here.
Yeah, thinking and unpacking and digesting. I love that because there's a lot.
Thinking and growing.
There's a lot. Yeah, thinking and growing too. Obviously, if learning isn't your cup of tea, this the 12 to 2 on Saturday probably won't be your show. And that's okay. And that's perfectly fine. But if you're like a student of life and like, man, I want to learn a little bit more, I think these 12 to 2 shows on Saturday are perfect for that, because it's unique conversations. It's all about questioning, curiosity, and in a super, super positive state, though. It's not, and I have to say this, it's never about being right. It's never about being right. It's always about trying to understand someone's point of view. And that's what I'm trying to do with this idea of doing this, is just like trying to understand what was Napoleon Hill trying to get through. It's like when you, and we had a texter talk about the Bible. I love reading the Bible because it's like, I honestly love reading other people's interpretations of what something means. And it's super interesting because it's like, why do you see it that way? It's like, why do you see it that way? There's so many beautiful parallels in that book, but we're talking about Think and Grow Rich, so I'm going to stay on track. There's this great poem. It says, if you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. And that's the idea. I think that's he brings these beautiful poems and these books. And I love the old model of books that I think they're kind of coming back, is where like there's a quote, there's a poem in between each chapter. And I think it's beautiful, but that's the basis of this book. If there was a summary in a poem what this book was about, it would be that right there. I mean, it's the man who thinks he can, and it's the man who thinks he can't. Like, that's what it is. He also says this. He says, this might be my favorite quote from this book. It says, somewhere in your makeup, perhaps in the cells of your brain, there lies a sleeping seed of achievement, which, if aroused and put into action, would carry you to heights such as you may never have hoped to obtain. So but this is the thing, though. He didn't say it's inside certain people. This is Hill's philosophy. So if Napoleon Hill interviewed 500 of the wealthiest people, and he concluded that it's inside of everyone, so that means that there's no difference between you and Henry Ford. There's no difference between you and the Wright brothers. There's no difference between you and Charles Schwab. There's no difference between you and Andrew Carnegie, except for obviously life experiences, conditioning, and the own individualized egos that we have. Other than that, he's saying that we all have the same potential. And he even says at the end of this book that the potential is unlimited. The potential is unlimited. The only limit is in our mind. So that's good. So I think that needs to be studied. And there's this great teacher, Bob Proctor. He talks about this book, and he got introduced to this book by a guy named Ray Stanford. And he was talking about the way he got introduced was he never read a book before. And the guy Ray was telling Mr. Proctor that there was Napoleon Hill, the author, spent his whole life researching and studying this material. And he said it would be a wise idea for you, Mr. Proctor, to study this material the rest of your life and figure out what this means for you. And obviously that's a radical point of view. That's a radical thing to do, is to study one particular book. But he did, and it said it worked. And that's kind of how I got interested in this book, and how I got interested in, just kind of this concept of this different thinking. There's this different thinking outside the box, if you would say. But that's it for chapter 3 for faith. The next chapter is called auto-suggestion. And it goes hand in hand with what we were talking about with faith, the subconscious, the whole thing. He says that auto-suggestion is the medium for influencing the subconscious mind. And if you go back to the beginning of the show, we talked about subconscious mind. We talked about the model that and that it's easier to learn something with a model. And I wish we had a whiteboard or something like that to actually show you what Dr. Thurman Fleet wrote and drew. But it was pretty simple. And so it gave someone a model. So when you think about your subconscious, you have something in your imagination to go off of. So it's not like this it's not just like this myth in your mind, right? There you have some validity to it. And auto suggestion, Hill defines it as a self suggestion. He says auto suggestion is self suggestion, and that it's a suggestion by self to self. And he says through the five senses we get suggestions, through media, through the things we see on TV, through our phone, through our books, through reading, through consuming information. And in our conscious mind, we have the ability to do what? Accept or reject the ideas, so they don't get into the subconscious mind. And that's obviously how the process of getting something to appear in the physical realm. That's how Hill says is the medium, is the subconscious mind. And that's why every thought must be examined. This is me saying this. This is not Hill. I said every thought must be examined. I mean, if this is true, and somewhere inside me says it is. If this is true, then every thought is so important. It's so important in that there's an inscription above the temple of Apollo in Delphi, Greece. It says, "Know thyself." That statement is so necessary because we do need to learn ourselves. We do need to understand. We do need to master ourselves. We do need to understand why we think things, and replace those thoughts with what we want. Like, what do you want to think about? And I've redefined the word selfish in my own personal lexicon, but I've defined it as something that would take me to new heights, an obsession with myself that would take me to new heights. And now, if that's my definition of selfish, I want to be selfish all the time.
Yeah.
Right? Now, selfish for some people is, an egotistical, narcissistic individual who only cares about himself and other people don't, whatever. But in my interpretation of the word selfish, I actually see selfish as something that is for the betterment of you and for the betterment of everyone I come across. Because if I'm at my best, I can give you my best version. And just maybe, me being at my best is what someone else needs. That's the kicker. And that's why I think being selfish in my definition, I would say is necessary. There's a great teacher. He said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now flip it. Love yourself as you love your neighbor. Okay, flip it again. Love your neighbor as you love yourself. Okay, there's kind of a reciprocal element there.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I don't love myself, I can't love the neighbor. Right? Okay, but if I do love myself, I can love the neighbor. Right? And so it's like, okay, how do we get to the process of loving ourselves? Well, we should probably figure that one out, because that's supposed to be the greatest commandment of all time, right? So we should probably figure that one out. And I think that process comes through knowing yourself and understanding, who you are, where you came from, and where you're going, and all that good stuff. Back to Napoleon Hill. If you catch a theme here, we kind of always drift to something, and then we got to always come back. But chapter 4, we're on principle 3, auto suggestion. He said, plain unemotional words do not influence the subconscious mind. Thoughts must be mixed with emotion and belief. And that's kind of what we were talking about. The price of the ability to influence your subconscious mind is an everlasting persistence in applying the principles described. You and you alone must decide whether or not the reward for which you are striving is worth the price you must pay for it in effort. I have to go back to it. There's this Bible verse. I think it's so beautiful. He talks of it's in the New Testament. I'll have to I might need to look it up, but I'll paraphrase what it's kind of talking about. It's discussing the um the concept of assessing the price of something before you go and do it. It's talking about, like, would you build a house without measuring how much wood you need for it? Is there you know would you measure? It's like for a football, for off-season football. This is my personal.
Luke?
Yeah,
Luke
probably.
14:28 through 30. For which of you desiring to build a tower
Yes.
doth not first sit down and count the cost,
Yes.
whether he have wherewith to complete it, lest apply when he hath laid a foundation and is not able to finish, all that behold begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's this idea of, like, when you set out to do something, you have to understand what you're willing to give for it. Do you understand what you're willing to give for it?
Yeah.
Have you really thought about that? Or you just thought about the good days, right? And you just thought about, what's the sacrifice? I think to receive, you have to give. And sometimes people see that and it's always about money. Well, no, the given time, given effort, given discipline, given all these different things, I think there's a commonality there. And I think I think about off-season workouts where, you say you want to become great, you say you want to do this, and all of a sudden it hits and it's time. And then all of a sudden you see all these guys throwing up, and they didn't train, in the off-season well. They didn't take their winter break serious. They didn't train when they were at home. They're not eating right. They're not sleeping at night. They're drinking too much, or they're doing whatever, and it shows, right? So, but they said they wanted to do this. And it's the same thing of what that verse is saying. It's like, you said you wanted, this is what you wanted. Now it's evident that you didn't weigh the price. The price is getting up early. The price is staying consistent with your eating habits. The price is going to sleep on time. The price is maybe you don't interact with your girl as much, and you have to tell her to go home at times. I have to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, right? The price is not hang out with those friends that keep you down. Like, that's the price. So did you weigh that before you started, right? Did you, or did you collect all the stone and all that, or you didn't collect stone to build a tower, right? Like, that's the idea. So, like, that's the symbolism behind there. And I think it's awesome. I think that's what Hill is saying. The price of the ability to influence your subconscious mind is an everlasting persistence in applying the principles described. So he didn't say it's a 10-year period where you got to really, really lock in, or it's a 10-day process, which people say get rich in 30 days or whatever. He just said it's everlasting. It's to the end of your life. There's always going to be a suggestion coming in. There's always going to be something that you have to reject. There's always something. I mean, you see something I scroll on social media and I see something I disagree with. I have to reject it. Or I'm not going to accept something I don't want, right? There's I like investing, right? I like looking up investments. I like looking up the stock market, all that stuff. So if I see someone's giving some investment advice and I disagree with it, right? That's information I'm intaking. I disagree with it. It's gone with. But all of a sudden, what if I just scroll and accept everything I see? Oh, I'm scrolling Twitter or whatever, and I accept everything I see. You're going to be in a boatload of trouble in your life, right? And I think we talked about it off air, is that everyone has opinions and everyone needs to find out for themselves, right? And I think that's a self journey. Continuing with auto suggestion, he says using auto suggestion is dependent on your capacity to concentrate upon a given desire until the desire becomes a burning obsession. And so I think that's the repetition we're talking about, using the example of you working at the ticket. There was a time where it became an idea, the repetition, the emotional involvement. Then it kind of probably became like an obsession, and in a way. Now, I'm not talking obsession in an unhealthy sense, but in a sense of like, there's something about this that I really love and I really want to do it. Right. And then, that manifests itself in something else. All of a sudden, you want to talk to your friends about it. Right. You want to talk to it brings up in conversation. The things you're watching kind of are related around that subject or that idea. And it goes back to the same formula, that thoughts plus emotions plus faith, or I would say thoughts plus emotions / faith, meaning faith is the emotion, equals successful planting in the subconscious, and by repetition is key to getting it to manifest physically. And this is all Hill's saying this. He'll also suggest that every day we should build the mental picture of the things we desire. And I would say that's more so like the electrical charge, and get emotionally invested with it, or bring up an elevated emotion. That's the magnetic force pulling it to us, and see ourselves already experiencing the thing that we want. And that's the kicker. That's the kicker. I think I read a lot of books on the subject of visualization of the mind processes, the creative process in the individual. And it's been super consistent that everyone talks about believing you have received it before it happens. It's before it happens. It's not the thing. It's not a thing where it happens, then you're grateful for it, right? It's not a thing where like it's it's coming, it's close. Like these people, they believe it already happened. Jim Carrey said he used to go up on this forget some place in California, and he would write himself a check for $10 million. He did. He wrote himself a check for $10 million, and he visualized it already happening. And he said he would drive home and he would think it already happened. It already happened. And so he didn't really understand, I don't think, what he was doing. This is what he said. But lo and behold, like I think it was 5 years later or a year later, he got a check for $10 million for Dumb and Dumber. And it was like, like it was this, there was a cause to it. And I think we have to understand what the cause is. And that in essence, like we are the cause. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that takes some power to acknowledge that too. But yeah, we got a couple more points for the last chapter that we're gonna go through. Auto suggestion, Think and Grow Rich.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and throw it to break. We got one more segment here left on What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Things that impair you come in many different shapes and sizes. Some are the shape of beer and liquor bottles. Others look like cigarettes but aren't cigarettes at all. These are the things we know impair us, the things our parents warned us about. What we're not always aware of is our new prescription, or the over-the-counter medicine we picked up just for allergies or a bad cold. See, it doesn't just matter how much of a substance you take. If you are impaired, driving is deceptively dangerous. Don't drive impaired. Paid for by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
It happens. All of a sudden, you need a plumber. Just call Bryant, 467-1111. Problem solved with Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
Bagels and Joe is the best place to start off your mornings, and you can order your breakfast ahead of time on their app. You can't go wrong with one of their great bagel sandwiches or breakfast burritos. Stop by any of their 4 locations in Lincoln or their location in Seward. Bagels and Joe.
Hey, bestie. Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Hey, it's Chad with Nutrition Authority inviting you to stop in and check out the #1 selling complete post-workout product, CPR. CPR is ideal for anyone who works out, exercises, or competes and wants to maximize results. CPR can only be found at Nutrition Authority. Stop in today, try a free sample, or visit us at mynutritionauthority.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Hello, this is Mary Pat Waite. I've had the privilege of working with Lincoln families as their realtor for more than 31 years, and I'm so proud to be associated with MP Dodge Real Estate. For me, your transaction is unique in its own way. My experience allows me to bring you trusted care and a really great outcome. My NP Dodge family shares the same client focus.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Ever wonder what it's like to work for a company that actually cares? At Lincoln Industries, they're revolutionizing local manufacturing while taking care of their most valuable asset, their people. When you join their team, you'll enjoy comprehensive health coverage, wellness initiatives that work around your life, and benefits that show they're serious about your future. Plus, you'll be a part of a proud manufacturing tradition right here in the community. Don't just take their word for it. Visit LincolnIndustries.com to see all their current opportunities and find out why their people love calling Lincoln Industries home.
Golfing in 72 degrees and perfect conditions in Nebraska doesn't seem possible in the winter, but it is. Double Eagle Golf is your escape from the bone-chilling cold outside and a reason to keep your clubs out year-round. Book a bay with some friends for a weekend or come by for golf and happy hour on a weekday. Spring leagues begin in February. Get signed up today. That's all at Double Eagle Golf inside the Kinetic Sports Complex at West O Street. Online at doubleeagle.golf.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? Do you need a lawyer you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion? The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Contact us for a free consultation by calling 877-42-LIBERTY. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Back to What's Brewing with Chancellor Brewington on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Powered by the Teammates Mentoring Program.
All right, we're back for one more segment of What's Brewing here on 93.7 The Ticket. We're going over the next chapter of Think and Grow Rich.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Auto suggestion, Think and Grow Rich. We only got a couple more minutes, but there's only one way to wrap this chapter up. There's only one way to conclude this. Hill finishes this chapter of auto suggestion and says something remarkable. And it's like, it's funny, he sneaks us in at the end, and it's like, okay, how do you process this for someone, new to it? He says, Hill also says, do not get stuck on the plan or how you're going to carry this out. That is left up to the subconscious mind. And so then you're like, okay, I just got emotionally invested with this. I followed the formula that Hill gave me, he said that all these 500 of the wealthiest people followed. So they followed this plan of not exactly knowing where they were, or they knew where they were going. They didn't know how they're going to get there. And so for someone who's a materialist, I'm not saying myself, but for someone who is a materialist or someone who is so connected to three-dimensional reality that they can't see anything outside of that, that would probably be one of the hardest things to conceptualize right there. Like, how does that work? How would that work for me? And so when I was reading this, I was like, I feel like I read a book that talked about this, and there is a book, and I have it in my hand. It looks like a little pamphlet, but it's called U Squared by Bryce Pritchett. He's a phenomenal author, but the book is only like 30 pages. But every page of this book, it gets better. Like, it's better and better. So like, chapter 1 is great, but like once you get in like chapter 10, like it's only like 2 pages, but it's phenomenal. But he has this concept. He says, focus on the ends rather than means. That's the chapter. And he says, you don't have to know how you're going to get there, but you need to know where you want to go. He says it is crucial to have a crystal clear picture of what you want to accomplish. Operate with a sharply defined mental image of the outcome you seek. Rivet your attention on that spot where you are, to land at the end of your quantum leap. Visualize your arrival. When you do that, it is like you magnetize yourself to the ways and means involved in the methodology for getting there. The solutions begin to appear, answers come to you. The key is not to get in the way. So if you go back to this whole chapter, it's almost like they know each other or something, right? And then you read another book. I read this book called Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza, and he talks about the same thing. So, and it's fascinating. You read all these books and they say kind of the same thing in their own philosophy, in their own ways, in their own experiences. And you're like, wow, there has to be some type of truth. Because I think there's this idea of truth, and I feel like there's a seeking for truth, maybe, or maybe it's the things I consume. But if truth stands alone, then you can find truth in everything. You can find truth in a symbol, right? If truth stands alone, truth stands alone in that, when there's a revelation that says when the earth goes, when the earth, withers away or whatever it says, that truth will still stand. The word will still stand. So if truth stands alone, then you can find truth in everything, right? Truth isn't contained truth can't even be contained in a book, because truth is outside of the book, right? Truth is truth, right? So if someone's trying to find truth, man, you can find it. I feel like you just have to look and search and seek and try to experience it and look at your own life experiences too. But I think it's awesome that you don't get stuck on the plan. You don't get stuck on the how. You get stuck on what you want. And that's not, and I think redefining that word of selfish and becoming selfish. And if you don't understand what that means, maybe go back to the last segment or 2 segments ago when we were talking about this. But great 2 chapters, faith and auto-suggestion today. I'm sure next week we'll be able to talk about more, and we might do Think and Grow Rich, or we might do another book, or we might do something else, but or we might just keep going with this. We'll decide and figure it out. But I appreciate everyone listening. I hope they have a fantastic Saturday, or if you're rewatching this, I hope you have a fantastic next couple of days, or whatever day it lands on, man. I hope you have a great day, and that you're growing and learning and just becoming the best version of yourself.
All right, well, we're going to go ahead and head out for today. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good rest of your Saturday, and you'll catch us back here next week on 93.7 The Ticket.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Hey, bestie! Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too. My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own. Always in the driver's seat, huh? Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot. Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop. Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
Midwest Bank is proud to be your local community bank right here in Lincoln. This is Abby with Midwest Bank. Stop by our new location at 70th and Pioneers. Our new full-service branch does it all. From our friendly staff to our easy online banking and mobile app, you get all the technology of a big bank that you need, but you still get the hometown customer service that you want. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Learn more at midwest.bank. Member FDIC.
I used to smoke. I thought of cigarettes as my best friend.